Thank you. Thank you so much.
Feel free to drink or anything.
Thank you so much. My name is Gisele Esalo, and I'm standing here wearing my hat as financial discipline coach. Okay, everything we've heard about was so rich, so empowering today, and you would agree with me that if in our finances things are not working hard, it's going to be like a a motorway to end up with Sister Georgette because of financial trouble. It's like you're running in a motorway and you'll end up with psychological problems, and it can also develop into depression. And we've known people to commit suicide simply because the starting point was financial problems. And finances in one aspect of life that I'm very passionate about, because as many of you will identify, I had to go through the hard way to come out on the other side of the tunnel. I grew up, no one talked to me about finances. Nope. My parent never sat me down and taught me how to manage my finances. And all I heard was, we don't have money. We can't afford this now. You're asking too much. Wait when I get. I didn't know when I'm waiting what is happening here. And when it's too much compared to what? When we don't have, why we don't have? There was no explanation. I got only the answers. And I found myself doing the same with my children. What you're asking for that pair of shoes is too expensive. Compared to what? Because this child is seeing their friends wearing twice the price of what they're asking you. So when you're telling them it's too expensive, you are not explaining it's expensive as compared to what we have financially. So I didn't have. And lo and behold, when I went into the world and working and making the money finally, how do I start? Spending. Spending. And not knowing how to increase my money. And when I didn't have, then I identify with the answer I don't have. When I have too much, I know spend it all, because there were times whatever you ask, you got. So this is the time I've got the money, I will spend it. And then when I didn't have, okay, I'll wait until next time. And it was a roller coaster. It hit me very hard. And I came back and realized that we take ourselves to schools, and we learn all these skills, and we get jobs, and some of us are entrepreneurs. But at the end of the day, if we don't have knowledge about money management, we end up we get up here and then poof, we go down. So that's why I took it as a challenge upon myself to go around and teach about financial discipline. And that financial discipline starts as early as 7 years old. As early as 7 years old. So we need to understand money. And just to break it out for you, we grew up with physical money. And now we're having the generation that are growing up with virtual money. It's even harder, because we had to count £100 as in 10, 10, 10. At least you can see that, oops, I had only 150, I'm left with 50, and 100 is gone for this one purchase. But these people have a button where they click, and it's all virtual. You click, and then it's only later on when you check that, whoops, it's gone. And you've already clicked. And you have delivery next door. Next time, the delivery comes because you clicked. So it's even more important now to introduce financial discipline at an early age, so that they understand what it is about money. So for this session today, I thought if we because we have a very short time, to talk about developing saving culture. Developing saving cultures. You know, money is like it's like time. You make it, you spend it, and you lose it. You lost your time, you can lose money. You spend time doing something, you can spend money. And you make it, you can also make money. So we are very good at making money. At least most of us are very good at making money. And the minority groups are very, very good when it comes to making money. It's not a surprise somebody is doing 2, 3 jobs because we are very good at making money. But where we lack is how we are using the money that we are making. Because we need to realize that the strength you have now to make it, in 10 years' time, you're not going to have it. You are not going to have it. And if you don't know how to save and then to make your money grow, which is the investment part of it, it's a whole module altogether separate that we won't go into it tonight. But just the making and the saving is good enough for us to at least to come to that level that you are making, but not just to spend. You are making, you've got to save. And we are living in a capitalism. Capitalism is it's an economic status whereby we are forever encouraged to spend. Whatever, nowadays, even because we are using smartphone, we are using smart gadgets, they know your habits and they study you. They say that the last 3 days they've been clicking on shoes. They will bombard you with shoes. You initially set off to buy only one, but before you know it, you have 4 different colors of the same design. And you don't know how you ended up with 4, but because this is it, there is a lot of incentive for us to spend. And we are not getting the financial knowledge from when we are young. So we are learning out of disasters. We are learning out of problems. And that learning out of consequences is a way of learning, but it's a very expensive way of learning, to learn out of consequences. So developing a saving culture means that we have to have an agenda. We need to have an agenda. And the agenda is you have a goal in mind that I have to save. And I have to save this much by this time. It's not about I have to save. Oh, yes, you can have £100 and you've saved 50p. You are still saving. Yeah. But if you are starting from a point where you have a goal, you say in the next 6 months, I need to save £600. There is a figure. And then you have the time frame, because saving, because we are in this capital situation in capitalism where we are being encouraged to spend. If you don't have a time frame, you can postpone it until 2030. That 600 that you started in 2025, oh God, for this month, because it's my birthday month, I'm going to do it next month. I'm going to do it next year. I really, really wanted, to do it this year. But because of, family pressure and all that, I will do it next year. And it will never be done. It will remain a wish. It will remain in your mind until you take the first step. You haven't started. Are we together? Yes. Until you take the first step, you haven't started. And when you have a figure and you have a time frame, then you have some kind of accountability. That, no, how do I achieve that target that I have set for myself? You go back in the drawing board where you are the only director and the only admin, and you look at what is coming in, and you say, from what I'm getting, I need at least 10% or 20% of what I'm getting to go straight here so that I can achieve. Because you are aware of your expenses, you are aware of what you need, you are aware of the ad hoc expenses that you can occur. So by you setting that amount, setting that target, saying this is what I'm going to be saving, you are aware that there will be time when your expenses overtake your income. And you will have mitigating means or strategy on how to navigate that. And you are not going to feel guilty. If you have a target, you're not going to feel guilty. If you know that out of my income, I have to save 20%, and somebody presents you with a problem, that means you can't save the 20%, you have to save 10%. You know that by you saying no, you have a good reason to say no. I know we are all Christians. I can always bend. I can always bend and give them. Their problem is not your problem. Okay? You have a target in life. You have set your agenda. And you have to justify yourself why you are not putting that money aside. There must be a good justification. Often when I'm coaching, I will take you into 7 whys. 7 level of why. The first level of why are you not saving this month? Second level of why if you don't do what you are supposed to do? What will happen? The third level of why. Until you get to the 7 level of whys and you are still convinced, then you do it. If you stop at 4, I can't find of any other answer why I can't save, then save. Just save. You need to have 7 reasons, and they go from low intensity to the highest intensity that you are giving to yourself. You are not just making it up as you are going along, but it must convince you first. Remember, you are the CEO of you. So you must be able to convince yourself why I'm not saving this month. Failing to save is failing to strive. Failing to save is failing to strive. In fact, look at saving as one of the bills. Are we together? Yes. Look at your saving as one of the bills. The same way EE would not say, because you've paid for electricity, I understand, that's why you can't pay your bill for EE. Can EE say that for you? Can you go back and say, it's my landlord. He increased the rent again, so I can't pay for my phone. What will EE do? Stop. They just block you because you didn't honor your contract. So if you take saving to be a bill, your mindset will start changing.
Even if I fast and pray, fasting 40 days, God sees in the deepest place.
No.
God sees me that my back is, this is winter.
No. Esther, though.
My bills will still.
Your bills in life, we need to understand this, that we have set expenses, predictable ones, that we know that every month, I'm going, it's like, sometimes I get really, really mad. Somebody tells me, for 5 months, I haven't been able to pay my rent. Come on. Are you living in a free world where rent just get paid themselves? No, it's predictable. In fact, it shows a sense of irresponsibility.
Even our diamond, the gold from Africa, they took.
And what is interesting, what is interesting, within that 4 months of you not honoring your predictable expenses, you've paid so much of unpredictable. You've done your friend's birthday, you bought them a necklace, you are able to send money in Africa, you are able to actually join them because there was a party at the workplace, you needed to go. That's another 30 pounds that wasn't predicted. But so your priorities are wrong. You have sorted out the unpredicted expenses, And what you actually need, you haven't touched it. That is why I say culture, saving culture, because it changes the whole dynamic of how you function as a person. And I know for those of us who are religious, who have our spirituality, what we think is, first of all, oh, but, you know, as a Christian, how can I say no when I've got the money? Friend, if you think you are El Shaddai, you will die. Okay? You are not responsible for somebody's irresponsibilities.
Repeat.
What I'm saying
You are
is,
not
you are not responsible for somebody's irresponsibility.
Ay, ay.
I used to have, I'll give you one example. I used to have one lady.
Too deep, huh?
She's my cousin, actually. And it's like every single month, can you send me a 20? The kids don't have electricity at home. Can you just dash me a 50? You know, we don't have food. We just don't have food. And this is a person who is working. And it's 15th, on the 15th of the month, the kids don't have food. And they are requesting a 50 pound. Meanwhile, her nails are always renewed on time. Okay? Meanwhile, her lashes, they are always on, ting tang, all done. But the kids don't have food on day 15th. And you are talking 15 days post your pay.
Wicked woman.
And I was feeding into that bad habit by dashing that 20, dashing that 50. And then I had to sit down and say, listen, you need to sit down with me and budget. And you know what I got? If you don't have the money to give me, just leave me alone. You see the attitude? If you can't give me, just leave me alone. Why? Because it was so easy when they come with the need and I give. And by me doing that, I'm also a accomplice. I'm also feeding into that bad habit. And all I needed, I offered her even a free session. People pay me for counseling them. People pay me for coaching them financially. And I said, I'm going to coach you for free, for free. And they say, yeah.
For free.
For free. I said to her, I'll coach you for free. Right? And she didn't have time. But it takes time. I say, no, I can do it virtually. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, I have to do this. I can't do that. I said, listen, if you don't have the knowledge, the first place to invest is you. The first place to invest is you. And if I'm willing to invest in you and you're not willing to get that investment, leave it. You understand? So saving is a culture. And
A culture.
it's a culture. Okay. But because we are coming from a place where nobody has presented to us saving. No. And if they did, it came as a warning. If you don't save, something is gonna happen and then you don't have the money. And no. You have to develop that habit. And as I said, you need a what? A target. You need what? A goal in mind. You need time. That goal has to be very smart. Not just smart, but very smart. And when it comes to saving, every single working adult, you need to save at least minimum of 3 months worth of your living expenses.
3 months.
3 months minimum.
In this country.
In this country. You need at least 3 months of your living expenses. If it takes you £1,000 to live between the 1st of the month to the 30th of that month, then you need 3K. Why? Because on average, it takes us about 3 months to get a job, to settle in a job, and to receive the first check. So you don't want that 3 months, you have nothing to live on, On the day the job stopped, on the day the last paycheck came in, and that's it. You have job center, or you start digging into your saving. No, savings, yes, they're there for that, but you are digging into your plastic money. You use your credit card. You go to the sharks. You know, in the community we have a lot of sharks. They lend you money. Those sharks, they will lend you money. Their APR is like triple what Barclays will give you. They literally give you £500, and they say for 3 months or for 6 months, and you are going to pay back maybe 1,200. Oh yes, and there's no written contract, so you don't even know the steps they're going to take to recover their money. It can be as bad as going on TikTok and just, it can be, yeah, I've seen that.
So
They can
us, Mama,
abuse you.
because I don't want them to have heart attack. Because maybe there are some panic attack already. Help us, because most of them here maybe they are saying we are ladies, you as well. The thing you are bringing here, let my man go work at 5 a.m. It's too cold. It was meant to be like that. My mother told me, my grandma told me. Can't you see the Jews? So maybe
That's
you're telling
good.
me you're gonna give them heart attack. They don't know.
When it
It's the
comes
man,
to
it's the
when
man.
it comes to wealth creation, wealth is not sexually transmitted. It is not. We need to agree on something. Yeah, wealth is not sexually transmitted.
Attends, la richesse n'est pas sexuellement transmissible.
No.
It's not as heavy as in English.
No.
N'est pas sexuellement transmissible. Parce que si c'était transmissible, beaucoup de filles là seraient dedans.
Because if you are waiting on your partner or a rich husband, many people think, oh, if I get a rich husband, I'll just sit down. But that riches that the man is bringing in, is coming in
They
with,
give them cash. They
of
pay
course.
them nicely,
Yeah, it still need to be managed. It still need to be managed. Even a millionaire, actually, they have even a whole service managing their money. They are so good with management, money management. That's why you will meet a millionaire who gives you £50. They don't give you £100. You know why they're giving you £50? Because their 1.5 million is already committed. It's already committed. It's our money that is free money. And we think poor people can help poor people. No,
We
poor
give
people
freely in
don't help
church.
poor people.
In the church, I know we give freely. When we want, when we don't have, we don't give.
Then again, that's
As well, you give us. No, just in a way, we
Well,
need to give.
yes, but when we are
We need to
giving,
plan as well for that.
spiritual giving, gift giving, and that one is giving is a whole topic,
I know
because
that's the spiritual
yes,
side. But under the discipline,
even giving, it takes a whole lot of discipline for you to be able to give, because as I said, poor people don't help poor people, because we are all going to drown. You need to, when you are giving, and you need to give smartly. Sometimes what you are giving, we think giving is giving money. No, some people giving, they require your time. You're giving them, it's maybe buy them money management book. That's a good gift compared to you giving them £50 every month. Are we together? So the giving, yeah, bring them to,
send them to you, refer them. Maybe.
yeah, refer them to me, and that will be not for a season, not for a crisis, but it's for a long term. You are investing in a human being. You understand? So developing that saving culture is really important. When we went into lockdown, the COVID period, many people lost their jobs.
Yeah, many.
They lost their job, or they saw their income drop. But you see, the problem now becomes more difficult when your income drops, but you still want to maintain the same lifestyle. that dissonance can lead to mental health easily. Why? Because you still, listen, sometimes it's okay to go to Ritz and have a meal because you can afford it. But there are times you need to go and buy your £1 macaroni and your £1 sausage and make a meal for yourself.
Yeah.
You need to function on both, in both worlds. Because if you cannot adjust
Season and time.
season and what you have, you're gonna end up really, really up here, very unstable.
Okay, Mama.
So
We are running after time. It's not her. Yeah, she's loaded. I know she's really loaded and brainy. So, can we just collect 2 or 3 questions?
yeah.
Actually, to end up with. Like, yeah, go on. Yeah. Please, can you stand up, please, so they can see you?
Consequences, the type of culture and the people that we are who work well with consequences. You gave your reasons of having 7 whys, but I think consequences are stronger than having whys. It's easier to create excuses for your whys, but if there's consequences in place, I think it's harder to to avoid not following your 7 whys. So what would you say the best consequences advice like you've given would be?
Yeah. Consequences of not saving is that you are failing yourself first. And you are failing yourself. When you are not saving, you are failing yourself big time. Because one thing we need to understand is that life has ups and downs. And even if you go to the Bible, I'm referring to the Bible because if you remember the dream that Pharaoh had, the dream was about, Pharaoh had a dream, 7 fat cows and 7 emaciated cows, yeah? And you know what? The 7 small emaciated shrink cows ate the 7 big cows. You see the dream? You have 7 fat cows and you have 7 smallish cows, malnourished cows. You would think the healthy ones will eat the small ones, but in the dream, it's the small ones who actually consumed the healthy ones. So that tells you when we go through a season of not having, it's so quick to consume what we had. A season of good time. So if you have that mind picture to know that now I have, it's my 7 fat cows time. I need to save enough so that when the 7 emaciated cows come, they don't swallow me up. I will survive that. That's the mind that the picture that I always give, because you would think, oh, I can cover that. I can cover that. When COVID started, people kept going, buying and buying. They didn't know that it would last 2 years. At the end of 2 years, mental health cases went up. Mental health cases went up. Waiting list went longer because they were consumed.
Okay.